This special episode of It's All Her in collaboration with One Fine Baby is brought to you by Ergo Pouch, Stork Sack, and Ivy and Rose Co. Welcome back to It's All Her, the podcast. I'm your host, Geordie Lucas. I'm the founder and editor of It's All Her. I was an actress in a previous life and I'm a mum to a toddler. I've got a lot going on and I have a passion for helping women live simpler, better lives. Welcome, how are you? The last few weeks have been busy for me, to say the least. Thank you to those who came to our very first live show at One Fine Baby and those who tuned in to the version that's available on your podcast platforms now. Unfortunately, Rachael Finch, who was meant to be one of our guests on the day, couldn't make it. Her kids were unwell. #mumlife. So this episode, I am chatting with her about her journey through pregnancy into motherhood. So stick around for that. But I just wanted to start off this episode by sharing that if you follow me on my personal Instagram, it's been somewhat of a highlight reel recently. And I just want to have this as a reminder that not everything is as you see it or as it may seem on social media. I've been posting lots of my work wins on Instagram. This first live show for me was huge. I managed to secure sponsors and I have been doing some humble brags online from what I've been able to pull together. And I'm really motivated and fulfilled in my career at the moment and how this business is going. But behind the scenes, I was meant to be having a baby this month. I don't know if you follow me on my personal profile, but in January I had a D&C for a failed pregnancy that would have been due in August this month. And doing a live show at a baby expo when you are meant to be 9 months pregnant was a bit of a tough pill to swallow, and to have to sort of get on with it and pretend like nothing's happening was a bit difficult. As much as I absolutely loved being there and doing the live show, going around and looking at prams and baby carriers and maternity wear was a little bit difficult when I feel like there should have been a little human in my belly. So there's just a reminder that, not everything is as it seems on socials. Just because someone's life seems to be perfect doesn't mean it is. But I'm incredibly grateful for where I am and the opportunities that are coming my way. So whilst I am sad that I'm not having a baby this month, I am really excited for where I am in my career, and two things can be true at once. So yeah, that's that. Let's get to our guest for this week. The wonderful Rachael Finch talks about how she thought pregnancy and motherhood would affect her career, how to stay active and healthy through pregnancy, and also how she introduced her second child to her first. Here's my chat with Rachael Finch. Rachael, thank you so much for jumping on with us for a little bonus episode. You were meant to join us at One Fine Baby in Sydney over the weekend, but your little ones were unwell. How are you all this week?
We're good. Kiddies are back at school. I would have absolutely loved to be there in person, and I hear it was an amazing event. It was so much to see and do. So, but glad to catch up now.
So obviously at the expo, we were talking all about motherhood, in particular sort of pregnancy and that first sort of fourth trimester that women go through and sort of the transition into parenthood. And one of the first things we spoke about was, how did you know that you were ready to become a mum? Was there a moment, or was there a conversation that you had, or was it just like, if we don't do it now, we're never going to do it?
Oh, good question. I didn't know at all.
Yeah.
And for us, Misha and I knew we wanted to have kids eventually, but it just happened so naturally, organically. Like I feel like we had a really sped up relationship, marriage, and starting a family. So we met in May. Misha proposed to me in December, and then a year later, I was pregnant with Violet. So that's quite quick, you know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just this beautiful progression that we didn't even think too much about. We were just like, I was 23 when I fell pregnant with Violet. Yeah, we didn't kind of say, okay, this year's the year we're going to try. It was just we're in love with each other. We know we want to spend the rest of our lives with each other. We know we want kids. We've already got a puppy. Like,
Which is hard work than a baby, I have found.
the couch is completely chewed up. Let's just keep going. Yeah. So it was such a beautiful progression and something we didn't think about. But I do remember, because at the time I was working for Channel 7, I had just sort of stopped traveling as a model and working with Seven on different lifestyle and sport-based programs. Plus, I just signed on as the ambassador with Maya. And I remember saying to Misha, this is going to be really detrimental for my career. Like, I only just sort of started in this sort of media industry and working for Maya. Like, they're not going to book me for jobs. I'm going to look different. It's a different, like, it's not me. And it was actually, in fact, the best thing that had happened to my career. And it actually gave me so much direction and so much focus and so much substance to who I was and what I was actually about. And it was the most beautiful thing. And I remember Misha saying to me, he was like, that's so not true. Like, this is like, that's who you are. This is perfect. Like, this, just embrace it. And he was so right in all ways. So yeah, it was amazing.
Being 23, that's quite young in today's standards of having a baby. I'm guessing you were probably the first in your friendship group to have a child. I was the first in my friendship group to have a baby. How did you find that experience? Because I found it a little bit isolating.
There were two of our friends, actually. We've got a lot of European friends, which I feel like they traditionally do have kids a lot younger. But you're right, a lot of depending on where you're coming from, but there's different friends that have different perceptions on like when they want to have kids. And we do have a lot of friends that did start early, so we were lucky. So we had the two people, and I found that we naturally spent more time with them because we were doing the same things. We were pushing the same prams, we're changing the same shitty diapers, so it was kind of like all that same stuff. But yeah, I don't know, I just feel like the true friends understand and they get what you're going through, and they actually embrace it, and they see that if they don't have children, they see it as an opportunity to come along for the journey and enjoy the beautiful experience and learn about it and ask questions and support you in that process. And it's bloody hard, and it actually opens your eyes to who are your real friends, who cares the most, and who are the ones that maybe they weren't supposed to be there, or maybe you don't have that much in common that you thought you did. So I find that really weeded out the friendship groups.
I have found that so much since having, not just when Evie was a baby, but as a toddler. As you know, toddlers are always sick, and they need their mothers when they're unwell, and you have to cancel on things and all that sort of stuff. And I've had a lot of friends that are really understanding, but those who don't understand, you're right, kind of show that they really don't get it and they're not understanding friends.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember one of my girlfriends, she's actually has her own podcast as well, and she came over and slow cooked this beautiful chicken dish for me and brought over the pot and sat with me and just helped me through that process. Like, just spending a few hours and bringing that meal was something that I will always remember. Dropping meals at the at our doorstep, and those small things went a long way. But it's not that the people that don't connect with you during that time are bad people. It's just that as you get older and you mature, you're a little bit more picky and choosy, and time is of the essence, and like, time is so valuable and so precious to us. So you want to just make the most of it. And if you are going to spend time with people, like, you want it to be people that you lift up and they lift you up at the same time.
Yeah. A question that specifically came through for you regarding pregnancy was, what are some of your top tips for maintaining movement and staying healthy during pregnancy when we might be craving those, salty potato cakes or just wanting to lay on the couch? Like, how are some ways that we can just easily maintain some movement and healthy habits?
I think first and foremost, like for me, I can't believe how many Vegemite crackers I ate over 9 months. Like, it was unbelievable listening to your body and understanding that you feel something for a particular reason. So go with it. Um, the advice is there is no advice. Throw away the textbooks, throw away what she says, he says, like all the past out information. Yes, take it on board,
Yeah.
read it, listen to it, watch it. But the biggest thing that I've learned with all the courses that I've studied and the people that I've listened to and the experts that I've followed is like, there is no more intelligent being than yourself. And you just need to work on getting in tune with your body every single day and understanding what it needs day to day. We know what we need to do. We know that movement is good for us. We know that sleep is powerful. We know that fresh filtered water every day is important. We know we need to eat healthy. Like, how many more times do we need to hear it, But it's more like, how do I get in tune on a daily basis and know which level is the emptiest in order to keep everything balanced?
Yeah.
So for me, for example, I could go 2-3 days with no exercise. So I know on that, third or fourth day that's the level that's lacking. So it's like just constantly through breath work, through meditation, through the ability to get in touch with what your body's feeling. You need to do that on a daily basis in order to understand what you're lacking so you can honor that and stay true to that in order to set yourself up for the best success. So, if you're getting up and you don't feel well, even if you get outside for 5 minutes and get some fresh air, or throw down the yoga mat and just do some really basic stretching, or plan ahead and make yourself a healthy meal, a really beautiful, what do you feel like? Just make you something, a healthy swap to something that you're craving, for example. Just thinking of little ways to, to satisfy those sort of cravings, or to kind of keep those habitual routines up in order to keep that flow happening.
Was there something that surprised you about pregnancy that you perhaps weren't expecting to feel or experience?
I mean, for me, like, I knew how amazing our bodies were, like just from a textbook handbook level, but I didn't have a clue at how phenomenal they really are. Like, going through each trimester, giving birth, my body's ability to produce milk, adapt, like all of it. That is what surprised me, and that's such a sort of simple answer in a way, but it's still to this day, I just think, wow, my body grew a living being, nurtured, and was its home for a 9-month period, and then supported it in its first stages, and it still has that connection. I still feel like connected to my kids, of course. But that was the surprise. The surprising part was just the true power and beauty and magic that is a female's body was amazing.
It's pretty incredible. So at the fair, there was a million products on offer for mums, and I'm sure when you were pregnant, as was I was reading through, all the things that you're told that you need. And we might not necessarily need all of them, but was there a particular product or something that you found that was really useful in those newborn days?
Not so much newborn, but definitely like fourth month post-birth, so he's 4 months old. The Medela breast pump double
Oh, yeah.
Oh, honestly, Geordie, that was a lifesaver. Like, because it gave me a rest, and because Dominic especially was just drinking so much milk, and I was like struggling to keep up. So pumping in between feeding him was the perfect solution to continue to keep up my milk supply. So I would just sit there at the, like, literally just here at the kitchen or the dining table, and I just remember I just sounded like a Jersey cow, like remember?
You do feel like a cow, don't you? Like you're just being milked.
Oh, yeah. And like I was just looking down going, oh, my nipples, everything. It's just so small.
Gosh, I know that nothing will prepare you for that feeling of when your milk comes in as well. Like I found that was the strangest sensation.
Oh, I know, because like I don't think I was told about the colostrum at the start. So I was like, what is this? And then Violet and Dom just drank it, and then like you just went with the flow. And then the milk come through, but that prickly sensation, everything was like boom, you have a balloon full of sand on your chest and get ready. And I was like, drink something, take it out. It's like, it was so intense.
Yeah.
You know?
And I had no idea about like letdown on the other side. I said this on Saturday, was that like I had if I'm like one side, that the other side's going to start like squirting out as well. Like there's just things like that you just don't get told.
And did you find that, is this letdown when you're talking about the baby starts feeding? Are you meaning the other one starts to release milk?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were referring to something else. Something that no one told me, which actually shocked me the most, which is probably my answer. I erased that. Is when you feed, every time the baby, which I learned later, is and I'm trying to like go back to make it make sense now, because I'm remembering this now. Every time the baby feeds, it's actually helping contract the uterus back to its original shape. So that's why they say 9 months to grow a baby, 9 months to go back, because in that 9 months post-birth, your uterus is slowly coming back to normality. And every time you're feeding your baby, you actually experience that pulsing sensation again of that birthing experience. And for me, it was really emotional. So every time I would feed, I would feel such an array of mixed emotions. Like I would feel lost, I would feel exuberant, happy, then I would feel sad, I would want to cry. Like there was such a mix of emotions, and it was really weird for me. And I remember thinking, is anyone else having this same feeling as me? So I would feed Violet or Dom, whatever it was, and then the milk would come in, and then the wave of emotions would flow in after. And it was like every day was a new experience. So and I never got told that. So it was like, okay, here we go again. What's the lucky dip today?
As if it's not already enough of a roller coaster.
And it's a beautiful thing. Like if you look at it, the body's working in your favor. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But I just found it quite interesting that everything's really intense, you know, and because it's so new, you're shocked because you're not expecting what's to come. Like I get in a car, I'm driving wherever, I know how to turn, I know what that feels like in the car, I know to stop at a light. Like we all know what we're expecting, but when it's something new for the first time, that's when the shock factor comes in.
We all know pregnancy and postpartum life can wreak havoc on our skin. So make Ivy and Roseco your go-to for natural and effective skincare. All products have been designed to work on the most sensitive of skin types while delivering powerful results. From womb to world, Ergo Pouch has everything you need for uncomplicated newborn sleeping, from baby swaddles to bodysuits. The Ergo Pouch newborn range caters to different sleeping styles, preferences and challenges whilst keeping your precious bundle safe, warm and comfortable. Brocci Loo brings clever, cool and convenient products to parents in Australia and New Zealand. For all your bottle feeding needs, go check out Nano Baby, where you will find the famous Baby Booby bottle. You need to check that out. It mimics the breast like no other bottle. Bay is the go-to label for modern maternity and nursing clothing. Made for real mums by real mums, the versatile and uncomplicated range will see you through from pregnancy to breastfeeding and postpartum. Bay is effortless, unexpected, and as feminine as she is cool. Rochambeau baby shades are proudly made in Italy and assembled in the United States. They are BPA, lead and latex free and are small parts tested so are safe for babies. Plus, they are virtually unbreakable. The polarised sunglasses offer 100% UVA BC protection and are available in 5 sizes from baby through to adult. Stork Sack are known for their designer baby nappy bags, travel bags, stroller organisers and organic muslins. Award-winning and perfect for new parents and families. When buying a Stork Sack product, you are supporting the 2 Aussie mums who manage Stork Sack in Australia and New Zealand. VTech is a world leader of age-appropriate learning products. VTech develops innovative educational products that enrich children's development through fun and play.
We spoke a little bit about sort of developing confidence in our own parenting styles, because something that we all are faced with is advice. We get so much advice as new parents. How did you sort of gain confidence in going with your gut and trusting your sort of intuition as a mum?
I don't want to answer it and say like I feel like I just naturally had that, but I almost felt like I had to naturally have it, and I just had to go with it because this living thing was reliant on me. And yes, Misha, and it's a partnership, but because I was birthing and feeding the child, it was like I just had to go with it. If I felt like my baby needed to be picked up, that was it. I didn't care about the control crying and this and that, and I've got to leave her down for that amount. It's just like, no, I know that I need to pick her up, or there just that instinct that you have. And I just felt like I just went with my gut feeling every time, and I didn't question it. And and I don't actually know the answer to how I do that. I'm in tune with my body every day through all the practices that I put into play in my day. And so when that feeling comes, I just act upon it. I don't question it. The moment you question it is the moment that you're not sure, and that's when it becomes confusing. So I think when it comes, then then acting upon it is going to be the best solution.
I feel like sometimes social media is a bit of a blessing and a curse in this day and age, because we're exposed to so much information. And like you said before, like, oh no, there's the rules that you're meant to let them cry and all this sort of stuff. And maybe that does get in the way of our instincts sometimes, is that information overload that we're exposed to.
Yeah, I think it goes back to trusting yourself, and you are the only one with the answer. You know how we were saying before, like, read all the books that you want, listen to all the bits of information that you want. You can look at all the different websites, but no one knows you and your baby best. And I think letting go of that expectation of I have to be a certain mum, I have to feed them a certain diet, I have to have them asleep at a certain time. All of that is absolute bullshit. And it's so important to just drop, because the moment that you let go of that expectation and change your mentality to I do what works for my baby, then I don't know, there's this ease and flow, and that's when the ease of the intuition comes into play as well. And so yeah, like, and I guess I've learnt that over my, I guess, career and working, being in social media. Part of my career has been that. So I've I've become really good at being able to acknowledge when I've had enough, and when I've had enough of social media, and when I'm starting to compare myself on social media, and I can switch that off really quickly, and I'm like, get rid of that,
Yeah.
come back to me. And so I feel like I can switch that on and off really well now. But yeah, it can become a real trap because you can look and think, how come their baby's so perfect? How come their life looks amazing? How come she looks so fresh? And I feel like shit, you
Yeah.
know? And it's not that. It's just you just need to stay in your own lane and just be true to yourself. And at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is you, your home, your baby, your family, your life.
Yeah, totally. Let's talk about introducing siblings, because
Yeah.
you have 2 little ones. How did you go introducing your little boy to Violet when he was born? Are there some
So
hints that you have for parents who might be on the second or even third bub?
I asked Misha, like, how did we introduce siblings? Like, what was the best thing? And Misha's like, we didn't do anything. We just had the baby, the second baby, and then and he's like, that's it. Violet was the big sister. But I look back and I remember we were like, I feel like I was quite strategic around, oh, look, Dominic. Dominic didn't understand. He didn't even know what day it was. We didn't even have a clue what, how long he'd been alive for. Look, Dominic, it's your big sister, Violet. She's going to show you how to do this. Like, I would put a lot of ownership and responsibility in Violet's hands, and make her feel like that she was the big sister showing Dominic what to do. And I would ask her to help a lot. I would ask her to do things. And she still is a fabulous helper and an amazing, like, we're like Batman and Robin, like we're the perfect little duo. Like, we do everything together and we love getting tasks done. And she was like that when I had Dom. And so I felt like that was a really beautiful natural progression into introducing the siblings. So I think getting the older child to help if they can is a really great way, and just putting some ownership on them and some responsibility makes them feel like they have importance in the family, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. So Saturday's show was all about making life simpler and better for mums to be. What would your sort of number one top tip be for making the transition into motherhood a little easier?
I would say, and it's going to be a boring answer, but I would say the moment that you can shift your mind, like what we were saying before, to drop that expectation, everything becomes easier. Don't worry about having the house perfect. Don't worry about having the washing done. Don't worry about having 3 meals. Don't worry about if you don't get your meal prep done, if you don't get the floors clean, if the dog's not walked on time, if, like, drop all of that and shift to just do what needs to get done. Like my dad said just before we had Violet, if you can get like, write a list down at the start of the day. If you can get 2 things done in any day, then that's a fabulous day.
A win.
And that's a win. Even just one thing, and I always remembered that because I had the kids and I thought, what is he talking about? Like, I am so productive. And then I knew what he meant, because sleep deprivation is horrendous, and you feel like you're just constantly jet lagged for 4 or 5 months. So you just feel like you're playing catch up all the time. So I think just drop all that expectation. The moment you can mentally, like, actually do that, things become easier. And the day becomes easy. You're like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that the blanket's not folded. Doesn't matter that the pillows aren't fluffed. The toys are there. Great. Like, that for me is a big thing. And I also remember when we fell pregnant for the first time and had Violet, I remember thinking, what the hell were we doing with all of our time?
I know.
Did you think that? I think back and
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
what did we do?
Just to have like spare time.
Just to, I don't know, what am I doing? What were we doing? Sitting on the balcony, like reading books? Like I didn't read that many books. Surely I couldn't have read that much. We didn't watch that many movies all this time. So if you don't have children, go do something. And if you do have children, then yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Rach, thank you so much for joining us for this special little chat. I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad you're all feeling better.
Thank you, beautiful lady. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of It's All Her. If you have loved this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen, and I will be back in your ears very soon.